Hello, hello. This is Cynthia Suarez with Janora and Company Realty. I'm coming to you again today because in these times of this pandemic, there's so many important things that need to be addressed. One of the things that you've seen all around you is get ahead of the curve, with the health part of the pandemic. But there's also the financial impact that is going on right now. And I want to make sure that I'm bringing things to you guys that are going to help you get ahead of the curve with your finances. There are still people on furlough. There are people that their jobs have had to lay them off because they just couldn't keep them on. And people are going to be having other problems from that. One of the main reasons could be the possibility of a default on their mortgage. That's one of the big ones. And there are some solutions. So today, I have with me George Veitengruber. He's with Veitengruber Law. He's an attorney in New Jersey, does a lot of work. I've worked with him, but he's a wealth of information because unlike most attorneys, he's got a really, really strong background in helping people, manage the default process and manage the damage that can be done with a mortgage crisis. The reason he also is very dear to me as a professional is I also have a finance background. I had my Series 6 and 63. I did, I had assets under management, did budgeting, things like that. I was always helping, trying to help people manage their finances and get ahead. So, with all that said, I want to introduce George. George, would you just tell us a little bit about you?
Cynthia, thanks for having me today. I'm really, really happy to be here. So I am an attorney and I've been an attorney for 15 years. I opened my doors at Veitengruber Law 10 years ago. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary in February before all of this craziness happened.
Congratulations.
And thanks. And I've got 2 satellite offices, one in Bordentown and another one up in Metuchen. And me and my team of 8 do bankruptcy, real estate, and foreclosure defense. So we spend an awful lot of time dealing with people that have to have their finances in lock. Either they've found themselves in trouble and need to figure out how to correct and get through it, or they're building towards buying that first house or buying that next house. And that means that one of the most aware pieces my team has is, where's your budget? How are your finances? How's your credit score? What are you doing to keep and protect all of those things?
Right.
So now during this pandemic, it's a great time to reflect and bring that back full center.
Right, right. I agree with you wholeheartedly, So one of the things that I know, I found out that people that I cared about had, lost their homes, and I could have done something about it. I could have helped them if they only knew that there was help out there. So right now I know that one of the things offered was either to do a deferment or a forbearance, and they are different. We can get into them, I guess, later, but that still has an interest accruing with when you delaying your payments that either ends up on the back end or ends up due, once the payments are due again. But what if someone takes that option, if they had it, and now that time limit is up, their next payment is due, and they can't make it? What are people's options?
Everybody panic.
Yeah,
right.
I know they do.
Yeah. The reality of this situation is we have to spend a little time forward thinking and look about what's coming down the pipeline. And part of what's been so scary about the last 7 weeks is nobody necessarily knows what the future is. If we were having this conversation in January and told you what we've just endured, nobody would believe you that that's what was about to happen.
Right.
And when you look at your financial picture, and if it's been devastated as a result of this, either you've lost your job or your spouse has lost your job, or God forbid somebody's gotten sick, you still don't know what your future is going to be like over the next couple of months. But what I'd encourage people to do is be proactive about all of this.
Exactly.
And being proactive being proactive is pretty easy. Sit down and actually handwrite out your budget. Put every expense down, and the expenses you've had for the last 6 weeks aren't the expenses you had 2 months ago, because none of you are shopping for your Rook coffee or your Starbucks now. You're
Right.
not eating out as much. You're definitely not going to the movies or the concerts. So when you put your budget down, you actually should know exactly what it costs to make it through every single month.
Okay. So number one, take a look at your finances and have them in front
Yes.
of you so you know what you're working with.
And if you can't be honest with yourself about your finances, how can you be honest with any professional? So be realistic about what's coming in the door. Listen, if you have family that's helping you out and you know that's a sure thing, go ahead and add it to your list. If you've got alimony or child support or social security benefits, it's part of it. If there are programs in the state that are helping you with utility assist or
Mm-hmm.
food assistance, they are real numbers that you can add, but then sincerely look at your numbers and say, do I need everything that's on the expense side of the ledger right now? Or are some of these things luxuries?
Right. So once they've looked at that and they still cannot make that payment, which really I guess we should, be doing it now before that final payment, before that grace period is up for that next payment. But once they've done that, what are the steps to take? Like a lot of people don't know what to do because they're afraid to call their bank or they're assuming that something's not going to work. What would be the next step for them to contact their lender and try to do?
So the next step is exactly what you just said, and that is reach out to your lender and express to them that you've been affected by this. It brings me a lot of pleasure when I actually speak to somebody for the first time and I say, have you called your lender? Have you called your car loan company? Have you called your credit card companies to address that you've been affected by this pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
And ask for whatever deals they're willing to give you. But just remember, that is step one. We have to get through that step and then figure out the other part, which is recovery and sustaining.
It's because, George, I don't think a lot of people realize your bank doesn't want to foreclose on you. They
No,
have to end up taking back all of that as a liability. And they're sitting on that. They want to work something out. Somewhere or the other, they're going to get their interest, paid or whatever. So they want to work something out, but they don't know they can't make you do something. There's a process, and you can
right,
take control of it by making that first contact.
right. And if there's anything we can look at from the recession over the last decade, it's the banks don't want your house, but they will absolutely take your house if you stick your head in the sand and aren't proactive about how you're going to make this work.
Right.
That means if the lender is going to give you a deferment versus a forbearance, you either have to know how you're going to start repaying when that 3-month period is up, or that 6-month period, if you're super lucky, is up, or know that you're going to have to pivot to plan B, which is in New Jersey, you've got the ability to defend a foreclosure action. And if you ignore it and put your head in the sand, I promise you, they could get your house listed for sale in as short as 4 months, because I've seen it on some of my clients. If you fight, you probably have at least a year to work something out. And the most valuable thing in my client's pocket that they ignore is time. Time
Yeah.
equals opportunity. And that opportunity to get back on your feet by defending an action, you're buying the time to get yourself a chance to fix what's going on.
That's important. I'm really glad you said that about the as fast as 4 months, because in New Jersey, it used to be 12 to maybe 18. There was a time that was happening. And, it's still the type of state where you can defend your mortgage, but you have to know those timelines. Those are important. Now, if this really isn't something for somebody to do on their own, because there's so many laws, even though, yes, there are guidelines out there, but when you're working or you're taking care of your family, or if this isn't something you've done, you need the expertise, the little bit of investment it might take for you to secure representation and guidance is way, way less than the loss of your house and the financial impact of letting it go or dealing with it later. So, George, I know that you're good at giving free consultations. Like if somebody needs to just
Right.
call you and discuss their particular situation, they can do that. And that, I mean, come on, guys, it's like a no-brainer. The help is here. And I'm also here to help if you have questions. But one other thing I wanted to mention, George, is because I learned so much from you. Many people believe that, well, hey, what if it gets to the point where, we just couldn't get a handle on it, couldn't save our house, worst case scenario, or they think they couldn't anyway. Can you still pursue some type of recovery or help with the situation after the sheriff's sale?
Yes. So the most important thing that people have to remember are when you're dealing with lawyers, you've got tools, and those tools are about getting you into the best position possible based on whatever your facts are in front of you. So when we talk about foreclosure defense, that's an early opportunity to give yourself more time before a sheriff's sale happens.
Right.
But then if you're up against a sheriff's sale, well, guess what? You could do a bankruptcy to buy more time. And I know bankruptcy sounds like a four-letter word to a lot of people, but bankruptcy is an opportunity to A, buy more time, B, give you the opportunity to fix and correct it. When most people think of bankruptcy, right, they think of the old Depression era skit with the naked guy in a barrel who has nothing left. But the majority of my bankruptcy clients, they jump into a bankruptcy to stop sheriff sales from occurring, and they try to restructure their mortgage. So you could still sell your house if there's equity in it. Just because there's a sheriff sale doesn't mean you lose that opportunity. So sell the house and keep the equity. Or
That's I just want to say, George, that's huge, because some
yeah,
people think that just because they can't make the payments and it can be taken, oh, well, that's just it. But you might have equity. You might only owe 150,000, but the market says your houses could sell for 300,000. And that's why also talking to an experienced realtor who knows how to take you to the right attorney to make sure that we're serving you properly. Hopefully in this case, we can help you save your house. But if not,
right.
then I can help you sell your house and you walk away with some money and stop the bankruptcy. I mean, stop the foreclosure.
Right. And that's something that people lose all the time. It stuns me how many people come in here after a sheriff sale occurs and had equity sitting on the table. Now, there's a loophole in New Jersey that says as long as you file a bankruptcy within 10 days of a sheriff sale occurring, you can extend the timeline out to save your property for an additional 60 days.
Now,
What happens in that
how many of you knew that?
Zero.
That's
None.
right. Listen, George, there's just so much to talk about. And we could go on, and I want to go on and on, but I just think I wanted to just give people some information. So just tell us
Yeah.
quickly how we can, reach you. And also, guys, leave your comments below. Reach out to me, reach out to George. We're here to help. But how can people reach you, George?
Yeah, guys, so listen, we're absolutely sincere about this. We do free consultations. We've always done free consultations. We want you to pick our brains and figure out if there's a solution that helps you. So right now, in an interest of social distancing, we're doing 30-minute video or phone conversations where we'll review your finances with you and give you options. Doesn't mean you're committed to use me. It's giving you options so you know what's best for you. So if you need to reach out to us, you can either call us at 732-695-3303, extension 103, or you can reach me at george@veitengruberlaw.com, or you can follow me on Facebook. We've got several pages for that, or on Instagram, you can reach me at cursing attorney.
Okay. George, you're crazy. No,
I
but George,
tried.
this is just so valuable, and I'm going to put the information in the section as well. But thank you so much for your time. And there is help. We want to help. There is help. So thank you. I will talk to all of you again. And George, have a wonderful day.
Cynthia, you too. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.